We'd like to welcome all of our replay viewers. Thanks for checking us out, and be sure to comment throughout the show today. We're going to talk about retirement, and we want to know what you think about retirement. Are you thinking about it? Are you close to retirement age? And will you actually be able to retire when you want to, whether it's at age 62 or 65? Many people these days are working up to and past the age of 70 just to survive. It's never too early to plan for retirement. When I was 23 years old, a coworker who was in his late 40s, early 50s, took the time to speak with me about my employer's 401k plan, and I'm so glad that he did. His name is Stan Philippi. I had to give him a shout out. I only wish that I hadn't waited about a year after that conversation to finally join that 401k plan. But not everyone has access to a 401k plan, or better yet, a defined benefit pension plan, something unions fight for every day. So that's what we're talking about today. In just a few minutes at 3 o'clock, our show is going to start. So we just wanted to chat with you a little bit before the show to let you know that we really want you to comment on this and share the video with your friends to get a conversation going about retirement and pensions and 401ks. And I actually have one of our first guests with us. I know we have about 4 minutes to kill here, but this is Ed Manhart. Ed is the director EAP Employee Assistance Program. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing great, Tanya. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good.
Excellent.
Are you nervous about being on the show?
Not really. You know, I've been looking forward to this. You had told us about it, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to talk about retirement, our retired members, and what we do, and how active our retirees are.
And they were on Capitol Hill today, and I
Yes.
will, ask them about that later, about, how lobbying went. But, what else? Tell us what else the Retirees Department is active with.
Well, right now, actually, we're here as, a group as they just returned from the Hill, actually. So they'll be able to share some really good stories with you. And this is part of our Retirees Education Strategy Program. It's a class that's going on down at W3 Education Center right now. And this is our lobby day. This is where they have worked all week to get up to this point to, meet with their elected officials, their congressperson, their senators, and they wrote letters in advance about the issues. They came in, we got prepped, and then they went on and they made the presentation. We're going to report on it tomorrow.
How often do you do this class?
We do this class 2 times a year right now. And we also have a Retirees Assistance Program. Now, the Retirees Assistance Program, it kind of happens in the middle of the 2 programs. Mm-hmm. The current program is this March. We're going to have another one. It'll be July the 8th is when that one starts, and the Retirees Assistance Program will be in April.
That'll be great.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
I know we only have a couple minutes.
Sure.
So I'm not going to show them to you yet. But the group is here. It's going to be a live studio audience. And I just want to show you a couple of the guests that are already here because we have, what do we have? 2 minutes, right? So Jill is one of them. Jill, come on over, and Betty, come on over. And Rich, do you want to run up real quick? You might have to duck a little bit. Oh, no, you can stand. You're good. So this is Jill. This is Betty. And this is Rich. Rich is from the Alliance for Retired Americans. And Rich is going to talk about the Union Plus benefits. So stay tuned. We have some great guests for you. We'll let them go back to their seats, but thank you for being here. You want to say hi, Mom? No. Thank you. Thanks so much. Great. All right, we're counting down the time. We're all excited. Don't forget, you can comment at any time, even if you're watching the replay, and let us know about those questions. Are you thinking about retirement? Do you think you're on track to retire? Are you going to be able to retire at 62 or 65? Let us know. And if you like what you see, please share this video. So I have 2:59, and I'm going to check my stream here and make sure that I can see everything. And I'll be able to tell you who's watching, who's listening, and where from, because no one's shy about telling us where they're from. And let us know if you're a retiree as well. There's the stream. Okay, I'm going to click on it. Hopefully the sound won't come up. Yay, I did it right this time. Okay, I already see Dave Lehive has joined us, Scott Geyer, Al Abramitis, Craig Hughes. Hey, Craig. Great program for retirees, Al says. Boston. I hear you, Craig's coming from, or I should say Boston. Just for Craig Hughes, I'm going to say Boston, okay? All right, I think it's 3 o'clock, so I'm going to be quiet.
Activate your voice. Activate it now. Live from Maryland. This is Activate Live.
Welcome to Activate Live, the Machinist Union's weekly show for and about working people like you. I'm Tanya Hutchins, a communications representative here at headquarters. March is Women's History Month, and we want to feature this month women who have made history, are making history, or who are making a difference in their communities. But first, the latest news in the IAM. The machinists at Lockheed Martin have a contract. The 5-year agreement covers members and their families in Georgia, Mississippi, and California. The contract offers increased wages, solidifies health care options, and allows a dignified retirement. Members of IAM Local Lodge 712 in Canada voted overwhelmingly Sunday in favor of a new reciprocity agreement as Bombardier and Airbus work toward finalizing a partnership to produce the C-Series aircraft. Workers who switch from Bombardier to the future partnership and vice versa won't lose their pensions and keep most of their seniority benefits, including salaries and vacation time. Workers who were laid off from one company will be given priority for future jobs at both companies. And a reminder that tomorrow is International Women's Day, a day calling for action to progress gender equity and for uniting friends, colleagues, and entire communities to be gender inclusive. It's a global day celebrating the economic, cultural, social, and political achievements of women. And this day has existed for more than a century. For more information and resources, you can visit internationalwomensday.com. That's internationalwomensday.com right there. And you can also download a selfie card. And we have a selfie card that says, "We will maintain a gender parity mindset." So they have different sayings, and you can download any of those as well. Well, there's also a push to end gender-based violence in the workplace. More than a third of women globally experience violence, whether it be at work, home, or in the community. Unions are taking action around the world, and the Building and Woodworkers International Union, which is also known as BWI, is calling for an International Labor Organization convention, an ILO convention from the United Nations to stop gender-based violence at work. So spread the word about International Women's Day, which is March 8th. Well, earlier today, participants in our Retirees Education and Strategy program traveled from their class at the Wimpisinger Education and Technology Center to Capitol Hill to make their voices heard. They activated their voices by letting their legislators know how they feel about critical issues that are critical to retirees, like pensions, Social Security, and Medicare. And we are lucky enough to have members of that class here with us today in our studio audience. We are so thankful for them, their hard work and their service to our union and all of our members. Now, we know that unions are good for workers' retirement security. 90% of union workers participate in a retirement plan compared to 75% of non-union workers. Now, that's status from the Economic Policy Institute, EPI. And joining me now is Retirees Department Director Ed Manhart, who is here with us to tell us about the Retirees Education and Strategy program. Thank you so much for being here, Ed.
Thank you, Tanya. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're really happy that we were able to make it here today, and thanks again for having all of us.
You had the strategy class this week, and tell us a little bit about what the class entails, because you're actually forming plans.
Yes, ma'am. We have a lot of plans, actually, and so we kicked the program off with, helping retirees relink once they leave. And they go out and, they retire and they leave for a while and then they come back. And so people look to get them reconnected so that they can stay connected with the union. And then we form committees and we form clubs in our lodges.
So they're retirees committees?
Yes, ma'am. We have the retirees committees and clubs, and they help the lodges in a lot of ways by keeping all of the membership informed on what's going on, and as far as seniors' issues are concerned, and helping keep up the fight for Social Security and Medicare, because that's important to everybody.
It is. It's a tough fight. You're also teaching them how to mobilize and how to activate voters.
Yes, we're forming strategic plans. It's our 2018-2020 senior strategy plans. And this is a culmination of plans that will hopefully lead up to the global plan, which is a GOTV, so that we can get the people out and their voice can be heard through their vote.
So GOTV is get out the vote.
Get out the vote.
And it doesn't matter what party you're in, we're voting for us.
It's
right?
an issues deal. We have the commonality of interest that we share. Our pensions need to be protected, and Social Security has to be protected. These and Medicare has to be protected. These are our earned benefits. They are earned, and we are entitled to those.
Well, thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome to come back anytime.
Okay, and we're looking forward to coming back, and so thank you very much for having us.
And after this class, remind us again when the next class is, if someone wasn't able to be in this class.
Yes, okay, so our next RESP, which is the Retirees Education Strategy Program, it will be July the 8th, and the deadline for that is coming up real soon. So please go online and look for the posting underneath our department webpage. You can download a registration form and get it there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tanya.
Great. If you're just joining us, we have a live audience. These are our retirees that were on Capitol Hill. I'm just waving to Jill, our next guest, to bring her over. And they're in our audience, as you can see. We're so glad to have them here. Scoot on in. Whether you're on a lunch break on the West Coast or an afternoon break in the Midwest, or if your shift is over on the East Coast, you can join the conversation by commenting on Facebook or replying on Twitter. And we'd like to give a shout out to all of our viewers on YouTube as well. If you're a retiree watching, let us know if you've taken the Retiree Education Strategy class. And some of the questions that we're asking our viewers are you on track to retire at 62 or 65? What age do you realistically think you will retire? And if you're just joining us, you saw that we had our full audience of IAM retirees from various sectors all over the United States and Canada. And we are now going to talk to a couple of them. Because it's Women's History Month, I think it's fitting that we talk to a couple of our women retirees. So we have Jill Gaskell, retired from the U.S. Forest Service last October. She's a relatively new retiree, but she's here with us now. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you.
Now, you are a NEFI member, National Federation of Federal Employees.
That's right.
And where are you from?
I'm from outside Madison, Wisconsin, worked in Madison.
And what did your job entail? What did you do?
I was a researcher doing molecular biology work on the genetics of wood-rotting fungi.
Wow, that sounds like a real job.
It was a real fun job. I really enjoyed it.
That is amazing. So were there many women there?
It was maybe a third women, not half, but
Okay.
in the research area itself.
Gotcha. Okay, that's great. So you've been pretty busy this week. How has it been in class, and what has really stood out to you this week?
Oh, it's really great, and we don't have a retirees club in the Forest Service, as far as I know, but certainly not in Madison. And it's really interesting to hear all the people who do have retirees clubs and the different things that they do, and being able to keep in touch, but also being legislatively active.
Can you foresee one in your area, a retiree
Yeah.
committee?
Yes. We have, so NEFI's been pretty active at sending people to the Wimpisinger Education Center, and we've got so much knowledge, and they're all retiring. So we need to keep that knowledge around.
Well, I'm so glad that you took this class. Were you also on Capitol Hill just a few hours ago?
Yes, I was.
So how did that go? Who did you visit, and what did you talk about?
I visited with my representative, Mark Pocan, who is still a dues-paying member of the Printers Union. He's an awesome guy. And
Great.
there's a plug for. And I met with his staffer. He was in a meeting, but we met him when we were waiting for the elevator, so we got to talk to him a bit. But they're very receptive to the issues that the IAM is working on. And
And in case viewers are just joining us, what are some of the issues that you brought up?
well, one of them is Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. We asked them to remove the cap on Social Security so that higher wage earners can pay Social Security tax, and it would help to fund the system for longer than they say that it's going to be funded. I talked to the staffer specifically about some federal employee retirement concerns. And he's always been very supportive of federal employees. So we appreciate that.
So you jumped right in. I mean, you're a new retiree and you're like staying active.
I love doing this stuff.
How does it make you feel knowing that you're just, not only staying active, but you are making your voice heard on Capitol Hill? Because a lot of people talk about, I'll call my senator or my representative, and a lot of people don't follow through. And that's part of why we're doing this, is to mobilize people. Mm-hmm. But how does that make you feel now that you're doing it?
While I was a union steward, I realized that I was the person who could speak for the people who couldn't or weren't able to for whatever reason. And I feel that that's kind of my role in doing these lobbying efforts as well. Not everybody can get to DC. Not everyone is comfortable with talking to people who hold the power, and I'm not afraid of them because I had union training.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. Before we leave, I have to ask you, what is your message to working people right now? These are the future retirees. What do you have to say to them?
Well, as a future retiree, start planning, save your money. I tell my kids this too. Start now. I don't care if you're 23, start now. But also that you need to make your voice heard, because if you don't go to town meetings and local government meetings, or even your Congress people when they're in their district, they're not going to hear you. So you need to stand up and speak out.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. So we'll let you find your spot in the audience. So please join the conversation. I'm waving over our next guest, our retiree from Canada, Betty Williams, retired in 2008. And I hope I have this right. I think it's Arvin Shocks Absorbers in Toronto, Ontario. And next January, this is huge news, and you'll have to comment on this as well. She will have been an IAM member for 50 years, and that deserves some applause. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking me.
I appreciate it, and I love your accent. Love it.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about where you worked at Arvin and what you did.
I worked at Arvin. I started in 1968, and I started just as a machine operator B. From then, I proceeded to become an examiner. And what I did, I examined shocks, meaning that I was responsible for 22 visual defects, and I had to inspect every shock, and we actually hung around 1,800 shocks a day.
Wow.
So 1,800 shocks had to be unloaded and offloaded and inspected before they went to the customer.
You must have been in great shape.
I had big biceps.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, 50 years, that is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us, did you ever think 50 years later?
No, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think 50 years later I'd be a proud IAM member.
That is great. What message do you have for future retirees? Because a lot of people don't think about it until the last minute. A lot of young people don't have this on their minds. What message do you have for them?
First and foremost, I think if you're in a union, always remain active in your union, because your union has so many avenues for you to pursue and to keep young in the mind and young in the spirit, and also to help your fellow person and your fellow self, because you have to keep active. We have all kinds of programs. We have programs to keep you socially involved. We have a great union that we can come to Placid Harbour and be educated. We also have children's programs that you can also reach out to children at school, and you can tell them about unions and where you came from and where you're going to go.
That's great, because the kids don't learn about unions in school anymore. You're getting all kinds of hearts right now when you said that. People are loving that. I'm seeing hearts and likes everywhere. So you hit a spot there talking about going into school with the kids.
When I say we go into school with kids, I have a friend and his name is Plutarco Pacheco, and he is of Spanish origin, and he also goes into his children's school. This is where I'm coming from. I don't necessarily have children of my own, but Plutarco, he educates his children and goes to maybe show and tell with his grandchildren, and this is where they actually become involved and be active in the labour movement. It comes from the knee, from the children's knee until the picket line. That's where it all comes from.
That's true. If they grow up realizing the value of a
Absolutely.
union, then they will understand that they need to fight back on the job.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
we can't take any of those rights for granted. And a grievance procedure means so much.
It's a quality of life.
It is. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say? Did you go to Capitol Hill with
I sure
everybody?
did. I sure did.
Because you're from Canada, right? Ontario?
Originally from Scotland.
Oh, that's right. There you go. If you're
And-
guessing which accent, she just told you.
I've lived in Canada for almost 50 years in September this year. Yes, I did go to Capitol Hill, and I did go with my sister Jill,
Okay.
and we spoke to Senator Pocan, and I also spoke to a chap in the Air Force,
Oh, wow.
and it was interesting to speak about the free trade and to speak about what's happening just now with the steel. It was very interesting. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. You know, we're always trying to pump fair trade over free trade. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, she's going to sit back down. Well, you two can join the conversation. We have lots of people telling us if they are retired. We'd like to know if you are planning for retirement, if you think you'll be able to retire on time. Al Abramitis, I hope I'm saying that correctly, says one of the great things about IAM membership is education and activism. It doesn't end at retirement from your job. It just takes a different path. Rhonda Rogers says she loves the retirees, so you're getting a shout out from her. IMAW District 141 says good information. Delane Adams says, Tanya, he says, I'm glad you're back in the host chair. Oh no, Delane did a great job last week. He said, looking good retirees. Shout out to my retiree brother who came all the way from Hawaii. So that is amazing. Yeah.
He's sleeping.
So Al is writing to us from Manassas, Brandon Lunnan from 264 in Boston. So we really appreciate all the comments, and please tell us what you think about retirement and if you think you'll be able to retire when you think that you wanted to. So our next guest now, as I catch up with my prompter here, thank you for being here, scoot on in. We have someone here, a very special guest. One of the perks of being retired is that you have access to certain benefits and discounts, and we work closely with the Alliance for Retired Americans. And Executive Director Richard Fiesta is here to tell us all about Union Plus benefits for retirees. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So first, I'd like to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the Alliance first.
Sure. The Alliance for Retired Americans, Tanya, was formed by the AFL-CIO Executive Council back in 2001 to be the labor organization for labor retirees. And the IAM is one of our core union members. In fact, our founding president was George Corpius, who was the IAM president emeritus. And our current president is Robert Roach, who's the secretary treasurer emeritus of the IAM.
So we have a pretty good track
We
record.
are very closely joined at the hip, that's right. We coordinate with unions and the retiree organizations. The IAM is one that has a very robust one. Others do not, so we help them along with their retirees. And we advocate for what you would expect, retirement issues, Social Security, Medicare, pensions, and the like there. Fair trade laws, because having a good job with fair trade can give you a better quality of life in retirement as well. So that's what we're all about, and we have chapters in states all around the country.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the benefits that are available through Union Plus. People may have heard of Union Privilege, Union Plus, but for those who have not taken part yet, what is available?
Yep. Union Plus was also formed by the AFL-CIO to give a basket of very different benefits to union members and their family members as well. And we at the Alliance and IAM are particularly working with them in their new retiree health program that they launched this past July. It's a program where retirees or their spouses or active union members for their parents can explore what options are available after you turn 65 or you go on Medicare. Medicare supplemental plans if you stay on what's called traditional Medicare, the fee-for-service plan. Medicare Part C plans that combine the hospital, physician, and the drug program. Or the drug program, it's known as Part D separately. So there are lots of options available to members through the Union Plus eHealth program.
We hear the term Medigap a lot. Explain what that is.
Yeah, Medigap is for retirees who stay in traditional Medicare. That's a fee-for-service. You know, the monthly premium will come out of your Social Security check. You know what the annual deductibles and co-pays are. So by having co-pays and deductibles, there's a gap. So there are private insurance companies that will sell you what's known as a Medigap policy. It's formerly known as a Medicare supplement policy. And the government, HHS, regulates what type of benefits can be there. So it's a program for people who want to supplement traditional Medicare.
So it sounds like there's a lot available for retirees, and they should check that out probably right before they retire.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've heard from our sisters beforehand. Go ahead and explore before you retire. I'd say even a year out. Are you going to have some sort of retiree health care through your work, for example, through something that was collectively bargained for you? And that can be in the private sector or working for the state, or as we heard, working for the Forest Service as well.
Now, how does the benefits program work? If someone would like to take advantage of some of these benefits, what do they do?
Sure, it's easy. The Union Plus organization has contracted after some very heavy vetting with an organization called eHealth. And eHealth does not sell one particular product in the Medicare area. They have a special program for union retirees or union members whose spouse or parents may need a retiree benefit program. Call them. Unionplus.org website has their phone number, and they have trained specialists, especially for people who have been union members, to work with you, see what you have, and then figure out what program is best for you.
And this is the website right here. When you go to unionplus.org, this is what you see. And you can scroll down to get information. You can hit contact us. Everything that you need is right there. This is just a taste of what the website is. Is there anything else that we missed?
Well, ask questions. that you can never miss anything by asking questions, either in your own workplace or the benefits department where you worked, and then through the Union Plus program as well, administered by eHealth.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. Stay with me for a minute
Okay.
because I'm going to look at all of these comments that we have here and change my script around. Of course, unionplus.org is the website if you need a conversation and comment. We have Kim Nagradny Valier. Sorry, Kim. I bet you it's like Valier, like something very pretty. Says District 78 has a very active retirees committee. Thank you for all you have done for us all. And also John Veris Jr. says a lot available there. John is like always concerned about the cost, like a lot of people.
Of course.
But that's something that we're always concerned about. Adriana Picasso from Sterling, Virginia. She is on vacation watching us on Activate Live, so thank you for your loyalty, Adriana. She says she's learning from retired brother Al as well from Local Lodge 1759. We have John O'Donnell from Local 399 in Chicago. Scott Winan says he's retired. He's made it. Kim also says Sister Betty Williams is an inspiration. So she says the IAM retirees rock. Adriana Picasso also says she hopes to retire in 10 years, but she needs more education. She wants to keep learning. Jim Price says, great to see all of the young folks in the audience. He's calling you all young, you know. So thank you so much to everybody who has been joining the conversation with us there. So thank you for being here. We hope that you come back. About Union Plus benefits, go to unionplus.org. Well, we have some dates coming up for you to keep in mind if you are planning to take a class at the Wimpesinger Education and Technology Center in Hollywood, Maryland. That's our training center in Southern Maryland. Even though the deadline for the Young Machinist Training Program was March 5th, there are still a few slots left, so you can get your application in this week if you can. Also, the Basic Communicators class deadline is this Friday, March 9th. That is also the deadline for the Federal Employees Collective Bargaining class. So mark your calendars, that's just in 2 days. And that Basic Communicators class is the class that is run by our communications department, which produces Activate Live and brings you iMail. So we're hoping a lot of people sign up for that as well. Also mark your calendars for the TCU IAM convention in July. It is July 24th to the 26th. So that is coming up. It's the 35th regular convention for all our TCU members out there, the Transportation Communications Union. And we always put these dates at the bottom of iMail. So scroll down when you get iMail in your email. After you read all of our amazing articles, you can always sign up for iMail on our website also, which is goiam.org in the upper right-hand corner. And it's also in the slider right now that moves across the page at the top. Well, looking ahead to our meeting schedule, the Paper and Pulp Conference starts tomorrow in Monroe, Louisiana, and it runs through Saturday, March 10th. The Iowa State Council of Machinists meets March 17th and 18th, and that's going to be in Des Moines. And the Florida State AFL-CIO meets March 18th in Tallahassee, Florida. And if you don't want to miss any of our posts on Facebook, I'm just talking to the Facebook people right now, be sure to go to our page and hover over the following button. And we're going to show you right there. Following is kind of left of center there. And you can click on See First. And then the check mark will go next to See First. It'll change from default. And that way you'll see our posts in your feed. Because we don't want you to miss any of them. We want to try and give you as much information as we can. We are so excited that we've had such a great show today. We thank you for joining us. And if you like what you've seen today, we want you to share this video. So spreading the word is true voice activation. If you like what you've watched, whether you are on YouTube, whether you're on Twitter, give us a retweet. And if you're on Facebook, hit that share button. We're going to leave you with a shot of our studio audience, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, for another edition of Activate Live. Go Retirees!